Good good evening, St. Kitts and Nevis. Good evening, Leeward Islands. Good evening, OECS. Good evening to the Caribbean. Hey, while we're at it, we might as well say good evening to the entire universe. And welcome to another edition of On the Ball here on Win FM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host, and I'm hoping that we're going to have a wonderful time tonight. A lot of information to share, a lot of things have been happening, and boy, oh boy, a lot of action around the place at all kind of different levels. And we're going to start off the ball. Well, first off, before we start off the ball, I say good evening to my technician, Jamster, who's at my service as usual for the last few weeks. And a big good evening to Daddy T. How are you doing, sir? Hope all is well. And hope you're having fun enjoying yourself. And those persons who are celebrating happy birthdays today, happy birthday to you. If you're celebrating for the balance of the week and you're listening, we say happy birthday in advance. And if you would have had a birthday during the days past, we say happy belated birthday to you. And of course, those of you who are going through a period of bereavement, we say condolences to you and your family. And readily coming to mind is Mrs. Sonia Kelly Challenge, I think the surname is, the sister of Malaga and Luther Kelly. She passed in Canada, and she was ill for some time, and she passed, and she was laid to rest yesterday. That is Monday, and we say condolences to Luther Kelly and his family, and may their sister rest in peace. And she actually taught me, Jamster, she taught me literature in, was it first form or second form? A very nice lady. She's one of the ladies I was thinking, boy, I would like to be big, so I could have married to her. Why, Jamster? That's why they say if wishes were horses. You know, so many ladies that, you know, I wish I was big, that I could have married to them. Because for some reason, I like something about them. They look good, the way they get on and things like that. So, nonetheless, we are here. And let us kick off. We're expecting some guests, I should say, this evening. We're expecting cricket. We're expecting track and field. And this, we're getting towards the climax of the track and field season. We've been having some zonal meets here and there. We have basketball going on. But first, let's take it from golf and go to the man Zeke Percival from the St. Christopher Golf Club.
Results from the two golf tournament played on the weekend at the Royal St. Kitts Golf Course. First, on Saturday, we had the Starboard House Knockout Tournament. In the first match, we had Zeke Percival defeating Dr. Vance Gilbert 2-1. In the second match, we had Michael Davis defeating Sam Norford 3-2. And in the third match, went straight down to the wire, right down to the 18 holes. We had Clayton Harrowdale defeating Christopher Hensley 1-up. So the Starboard Knockout Tournament are now into the semifinals, and the semifinalists are Zeke Percival, Michael Davis, Clayton Harrowdale, and Kevin. That's the semifinalists for the Starboard Knockout Tournament. Then on Sunday, we had the E-Zone Cup playoffs with Michael Davis walking away with 6.5 points. In second place, we had the defending champion Zeke Percival walking away with 4.5 points. And in third place, a former champion, Cedric Jeffords, walking away with 2.5 points. So the E-Zone Cup is shaping up very well for the finals to be played at Four Seasons Nevis on May 20th. So congratulations to all the winners. All the winners are looking very good for these both tournaments, and we're looking for some exciting finish for the Starboard Knockout Tournament and also for the E-Zone Cup playoff.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zeke Percival out of Connery, and bringing us some information about the golf, what's happening in golf in St. Kitts. That's something that a lot of us don't get into, but a very, very powerful sport, and very, 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 I should say, rich. A lot of money players get rich. Jamster. Maybe we in the wrong field. We should have been out there playing golf. And my idea about golf is you hit the ball halfway around the island. You lost it, you look for it, you find it, and then you hit it around another island, and you do that for a whole day. And actually, it's a very technical game. You have different clubs, the 7-iron, the 9-iron, the putter, the long drive, most and many things. And if I hear all kind of things, and it's really interesting. And you have the handicap, as was explained to us by him some time ago when he was here with us. Now we are going into some basketball, and the St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Basketball Association, they are having the games going on right now, and boy, all kind of things happening in Jamster. I thought it would have been an easy walk in the park, but that wasn't the case at all for some clubs. I thought it would make it they run it straight into the finals, but it's not happening that way at all. All kind of things happening. And let us look at some results we have here coming up. And on the 20th, Saturday 20th February, these are, well, the individual stats. We don't have the individual stats, but let us give a backup from what we would have had from some time back as of the 20th. Veroni Francis. Well, this is a game actually in the Junior League between St. Paul's Tough Nuts and ASC Jayhawks. They completely blew Jayhawks straight out of the park, 115-59. We had Veroni Francis 50 points, a big, massive 50 points. Game high, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, 9 steals. Wow. Nearly missing a quadruple double. He had a 50 points, that's double, missing rebounds by 1 to go double digits, assists 1 double digit, steals missing by 1 double digit as well. Tivadi Herbert, 24 points, 29 rebounds. He had a big double-double. And Kaliel Ward actually having a double-double as well, 20 points, 18 rebounds. And those are stats for the SL Horsford's St. Paul's Tough Nuts, the runners-up last year. And for the Achiever Sports Club Jayhawks, they bagged some 59 points. Kazarian Battis, he had 20 points. Jazane Hodge, 16 points. Devontae Henry, 13 points. Jaden Edwards, the only player for them to get into double figures in rebounds, he grabbed the 14 boards. And if we go into individual stats up to that point, who do we have here? And these are telling us who have how many points and boards and overall for the season so far. In terms of leading points from Rams hitters, Shamar Sider, he has 186 points. SL Horsford St. Paul's Tough Nuts, 180 points. That's Vionre Francis. Why these guys don't have simple names like Tony and Peter and Sam and that sort of thing? Jamster. You look at these names, and sometimes, no disrespect, but you can't even tell if they are female names and male names. And I like simple names like Sheila and Wilhelmina and them kind of things, right? And Corleon Sargent of Youth and Sports Raiders, that's out of Nevis. He's in third place with 156 points. Now, this is interesting. It might be a good thing. I'm not certain. It may not be a good thing. It may be a good thing because nobody in the top three for the defending champions, Rams, Fruta Falcons out of SP, where the best be, they're leading the points table. So it's probably suggesting quite a few players making points. So they may be in 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th, but not in the top three. So that may be a good thing for Ram because in case one player is injured, they still have other players to be making some boards for them. In terms of rebounds, Macari Gums of Rams, Sandy Point, Fruta Falcons, he's leading the pack with 157 boards. Then we have SL Horsford Tough Nuts in 2 and 3. Tivaldi Herbert, 145 rebounds, and Kelly Ward, 107 points. In terms of assists, SL Horsford St. Paul's Tough Nuts, they're leading 1 and 2. And when you hear these things and these big figures, you're saying, well, they should be in the lead, but we're going to tell you about that just now. And Kelly L. Ward, he has 47 assists. Veroni Francis, he has 33 points, 33 assists, and he's from SL Horsford Tough Nut. And Shama Sider, Rams Hitters, he has 31 assists. And these guys are going on bad in terms of steals. I don't know if the police are looking for these guys, but they're not, because it's not that type of steals. The stealing we're talking about. Kelly L. Ward of SL Horsford's Tough Nut, he has stolen 76 balls. Shama Side of Rams Hitters, he has had 47. Wow. This guy is doing a very good job at stealing. Ward of SL Horsford's Tough Nuts. And then we have Kevonte Bedford, Rams, Sandy Point, Fruta Falcons, who has 36 steals. So the lead is twice his amount. In terms of blocks, whoa, Rams, Sandy Point, Fruta Falcons. Macari Gums, he's out front with 37 big blocks and leading by some 13 points. We have Tivaldi Herbert of SL Horsford's Tough Nut in second position with 24 points, and Kajani Hodge, Achiever Sports Club with 17 block. And then we had some games on Thursday the 22nd. Youth and Sports Raiders, they took care of business against Farm Care Birdwalk Uprisers, 72-65. For the Raiders, that's Birdwalk Youth and Sports Raiders out of Nevis. Kamal Brandy, 17 points, 14 rebounds. He bagging a double-double. Nicola Liebert, 17 points. Corleon Sargent, another double-double, 15 points, 16 rebounds. Udell Wisdom, he had 11 rebounds. For Birdwalk Uprisers, game high, the Orion Esdell, 39 points. You know, it's really tough, Jamster, when you make so many points by such a big margin and your team still loses. It's like in cricket, you make a century and you still lose. And it's like Mbappe, he scored a hat-trick in the World Cup final and France still lose. I think you could ball when you lose, and you could even ball bigger when you had such a splendid performance. And technically it has gone to naught. But hey, that is life. So we have, that's Esdell, 39 points, a massive 39 points. He was like twice the amount of anybody else. Tyler James, still of Farm Care Boardwalk Uprisers, 16 points. Jaden O'Garo, he had 10 boards. And we look at the next set of games here we had, and that was on Saturday, 24th February. Rams Hitters overcoming ASC Jayhawks 68-57. And for hitters, there was a double-double, two double-doubles in the game actually. Shamar's side at 27 points, 12 rebounds. Wow. 8 assists, 9 steals, very active in the game. Jaheim Berridge had 15 points, 13 rebounds. And Javion Brumble, he had a big 15 rebounds. For the Jayhawks, Jazani Hodge, he had a game-high 30 points and a massive 29 rebounds. According to how we say colloquially, he was well worked. And Kazarian Batiste had 13 points. Some big scores, but going down at the end of the day. Looking at the points table, it's actually coming down to the end of the season. And they're going to get there soon. The defending champions, Rams, Sandy Point Fruta Falcons. They've won 6 games and they've lost 2 games. And they have just 2 remaining games left. They have 20 points. Remember, there are 6 teams in the junior division. I think it's a Nevis Amateur Basketball Association's junior league, and they're playing 2 rounds. They're already into the second round. Youth and Sports Raiders, they have a game in hand, and they're just 1 point behind Sandy Point Fruta Falcons. They've won 6, lost 1. They've only played 7. Fruta Falcons played 8, and they have 19 points. So mathematically, were they to win the next game, they'll go to 22 points. And we have, who do we have here? And they'll take the lead from that point. And in third position, we have St. Paul's Tough Nuts. They've won 4, lost 2. They have 4 remaining games. So they have 2 games in hand over the leader, and they have 14 points. So were they to win those 2 games to come up to 8 matches played, they'll, assuming they win the 2 of them, they will be getting 2 points. That'll take them up to 16, 18. Rams hitters, and they've been the basketball champs some 19 times or 2021. Wow, they've dominated this thing. They've won 3 games and they've lost 4. They have 7 more. Sorry, that's 7. They have 3 more left. They have 13 points. In 5th place, Bird Rock Risers, they've only won 2 and they've lost 5. They have 3 games left. They have 11 points. So they could reach a maximum of 17, that is. And the Achievers Sports Club Jayhawks, they have yet to win a game. So as we say colloquially, Jamster, they are not home. They ain't win the game yet. But funny things are happening in basketball. They've lost all 7 matches they've played. They have 3 remaining. They have 7 points because, remember, you get 2 points for a win, 1 point for a loss. And, of course, if you don't show up, you lose by default. You get a 0. I think that is how this scoring is done. Is it? No, 3 points for a win. 3 6s, 18, and yes, 3 points for a win. And they have to do something. They really got to come up and pull some big strings to get a little, at least get a game on the board. We need to get that done. So, hey, they could say, well, we clear we come, as we normally say when it comes to any kind of sports, and even when it comes to dancing as well. You go to a dance, like Jamster go to a dance and stand up all day, all night, and he ain't get one dance with one lady. And we say he get a comb. So combing dancing and combing in basketball as well, and in sports. So that's it in terms of what has been happening. And we're going to give you a little tidbit in terms of the upcoming matches. I'm looking, I'm not seeing. I'm hoping Boxy or somebody listening and would send them to me before the program ends. And this program goes until 9 o'clock, from 7 o'clock every Tuesday night. And we remind you, we are indeed soliciting sponsorship for the program to make sure it happens. So we're encouraging you, an individual, a corporate community, big or small as you are, to actually come on out and support the sport, support the program On the Ball here at Win FM 98.9. All you have to do is call 466-9586, and our marketing department will gladly take care of you and invite you in, discuss your marketing benefits and how you can actually benefit from sponsoring On the Ball. And there was something I really liked from the St. Kitts and Nevis Amateur Basketball Association. On the weekend, they had a FIBA Rules and Respect workshop. Scanaba FIBA Rules, that's the FIBA, the International Association for Basketball, where they had a deep dive into the world of basketball with their FIBA/SKNAB rules sensitization and the matter of respect session. And this was led by the association's executive members, Jakida Thomas and Sheldon Pemberton, and veteran referee Ian Liebert. And they had clubs present there, and they would have been discussing the laws of the game, which is very important because these laws keep changing almost every year. They find something to change, a little tweet here, a little tweet there. And of course, our players will need to be up to date with these laws when they're going to compete regionally, internationally. They will have to be up to date with the laws. They can't go to you and when you're playing them, they're saying, oh, I didn't know that happened. We have to be on top of that right here, right now, not later, not next week. And that is where we are for basketball. We're expecting Rashid Eddy to be giving us a call. He has some good news he wants to share with us. And we still have some track and field to touch. We're going to be having Mr. Delwayne Delaney, the president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Athletic. He is going to be in here with us, and he's going to be telling us what's going on in the world of track and field. And right now, a lot of football happening here in St. Kitts. We have 2 zones in the CONCACAF on the 20 championship, but things are not going that good for the St. Kitts and Nevis team. We have lost 2 games by some 9-0 in aggregate, 5-0 and a 4-0. But a reminder, we are in Group E along with Haiti, Puerto Rico, and the Cayman Islands. And that zone has been playing here at the Technical Center up at St. Peter's. And we have Jamaica, Bermuda, Grenada, Martinique. They are playing here as well. And if we run through some scores, well, let me run through the points. In Zone A, and only 1 team from the zone is going through. And there are 6 zones, and they're going to be joining a few other key teams. So Zone A, and that is played in Nicaragua. Cuba, they've won their 2 matches, 6 points. Nicaragua, the host, they've also won their 2 matches, 6 points. Both are tied on goal difference. Belize, they are 3rd. They've played 1 and won 1. Sorry, played 1 and lost 1. British Virgin Islands, they've lost the 2 games they've played. Anguilla, they've lost the 1 game they've played. And in terms of the British Virgin Islands, our very own Tinny out of Newtown, Tinny Percival, he is the coach of the BVI's on the 20 team, and he journeyed with them to Nicaragua. And really, in that first encounter, they didn't do the best, but they came back and they were able to hold Cuba to only 2-1. A mighty house. Cuba went to halftime 1-1, but then Cuba came back and they scored some nice goals. A nice goal. The BVI, yes, holding Cuba to 2-1. And in Group B, Antigua and Barbuda, they've played 3 matches, 1-2, lost 1, they have 6 points. And, well, at this stage, it's Suriname in second place. They've won both their matches on 6 points. El Salvador, they've won 1 and drawn 1. They're on 4 points. Guyana, they've drawn 1 game and lost 2. Guyana joined with El Salvador. And generally, Jamsa, those South American countries, and I might get a little licks for it, but it's how I feel. I think their football is a few notches above ours here in the Caribbean, especially in the OECS. And these guys, and you see these under 20 guys, Jamster, our under 20 look like a little ant compared to them, man. These guys, they're big, they're tall, a lot of bodies. And I saw the under 20 in training, and I had to ask if that was the under 13 squad because of the physical size of these guys. And that is something that, I don't know, we might have to introduce something in the diet to bolster the growth. Because short guy, yes, and it's not to say they're short like Maradona, but they had some big legs, big thighs and things. These guys are nishi jamster. I don't know. Maybe we need to eat some more dumpling and yam and breadfruit and potato and things like that. But these guys, eating more bread and cheese and fast food jamster. And they don't eat no good soup, no good Saturday soup. You know, when it drop solid in your in your stomach. So we move down to zone Group C. Guatemala, that's played in Guatemala. They've won their 2 matches with 6 points. I'm not really surprised with that. Curacao, they've drawn 1 and won 1. They're in second with 4. Aruba, they've played 1 and drawn 1. So they have 1 point. Barbados, they lost the only game they played. St. Martin, they lost the 2 games they played. I'm not too surprised with this. I figured Guatemala or Curacao would be really coming out of that group. We go down to Group D. This, I think, should be an interesting group. Canada, they've won their 2 matches. They're leading 6 points with a goal difference of plus 12. Trinidad and Tobago, they're in second. They've won their 2 matches. They have a goal difference of plus 6. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they've won 1 and lost 2. They are third with 3 matches. Dominica, they have been eliminated. They have lost all 3 matches, so they don't have any points. But in terms of Canada, Canada would have beaten Dominica 8-0. Trinidad and Tobago would have overcome St. Vincent and the Grenadines 3-2. Canada came back and gave St. Vincent and the Grenadines 4-0. Trinidad and Tobago came back and trounced Dominica by a handful. And the championship matches yet to be played. St. Vincent and the Grenadines defeated Dominica 3-2. The championship match is actually being played now as we speak between Trinidad and Tobago and Canada. And that zone again is in Trinidad and Tobago. So if Trinidad, it's a simple equation for Trinidad, Jamsa. They have to beat the match to go through. They beat it, they go on to 6 points. Canada stays on 4. It's drawn, both of them go to 5 points. But Canada blow them away with in terms of goal difference. In goal E here in St. Kitts, things are not looking too good. As a matter of fact, Haiti, they have already qualified, and all the other three teams have been eliminated. Haiti won the zone. They've won 2 matches. They had 1 drawn game. They're on 7 points. Puerto Rico, they won 1. They've drawn 2. They're on 5 points. Cayman Islands, they've drawn 1, lost 1. They have 1 more game to play. That's St. Kitts and Nevis, which is being played now at 7 o'clock. But that is just for stats, really, because Cayman Islands, with 1 point, they can't even come second. And St. Kitts and Nevis, we've lost the 2 matches we've played. So we ourselves, we are on a comb. So it's a matter of playing for pride, Jamster, praying to get a point. And the game should be in the 33rd minute now. And let me see if I have anything telling me how this scores are. I'm not seeing anything as yet, but chances are something will come through before. And Group F, Jamaica, who I had to come out of this zone, they're heading towards there. They are leading Group F. They've won their 2 matches. They have 6 points. Bermuda, they've won 1 and lost 1. They have 3 points. Martinique, they've also won 1 and lost 1. They too have 3 points. Both teams have a goal difference of 0. Bermuda having scored 3 goals and Martinique having scored 2. That's the aggregate. Grenada, they're completely eliminated. They lost their 2 matches so far. So even if they win, they could only reach 3. However, Bermuda, they still have a chance. And they will have to beat Jamaica by 4 clear goals, because Jamaica, they have a goal difference of +3, whereas Bermuda, 3 points behind, have a goal difference of 0. All Jamaica needs is just a 1 point from a draw to go through. Bermuda will need 2 things. 1, they'll need to beat Jamaica, and 2, beat Jamaica by 4 clear goals. I don't gamble, Jamster. I don't even gamble and bet a sweetie, lollipop, or even a kiss with a lady. Well, I might take a chance and kiss, have a kiss, better kiss with a lady, but I don't think Bermuda, if they win, they can't beat Jamaica by 4 clear goals, Jamster. They can't beat Jamaica 4-0, 5-1, 6-2. Maybe in another life, maybe in another planet. I agree with you, Jamster. So I think I could call it that Jamaica already gone through to that zone. And at this stage, we have Brian Destin of Haiti. He is leading with 4 goals. Yes, Antigua doing a little better than us, Jamster. And it's just those funny things. And, well, the thing about Jamaica, Antigua, they have 5 teams in their zones. We only had 4, so they have 4 matches to play. And it's tough for them, I believe. When we looked at it, Antigua, El Salvador would have beaten Turks and Caicos 7-0. Antigua beat Guyana 4-0. Guyana and yes, but this is surprising. Guyana and El Salvador draw 2-2. That was surprising, Jamster. Guyana and El Salvador, because El Salvador is supposed to be Central America, a top-notch team. Suriname defeated Antigua and Barbuda 3-2. Suriname came back and trounced Guyana 4-1. Antigua and Barbuda, I thought they would have been really, really hammering the Turks and Caicos Islands, but they were just able to squeeze through with a 2-1. So we have the Turks and Caicos Islands coming up against Guyana on the 29th. That is Thursday. El Salvador coming up against Suriname on the 29th as well. The second, Suriname coming up against Turks and Caicos, and Antigua and Barbuda, they're coming up against El Salvador, and that is a mountain I think they'll have, a serious mountain they'll have to climb. So I think the prospects, Suriname coming up against Turks and Caicos, it's likely, I believe, that they're going to win. I think I think they're going to win. So El Salvador, they're going to go to 7 points. Antigua and Barbuda, I would like them to win against El Salvador. I'm not too certain about that. And were El Salvador to defeat Antigua, they'll take them to 7 points. And Suriname, where are we with Suriname? Suriname having Turks and Caicos to play, and I believe they're going to take care of business. So Suriname, at this stage, in my view, they have the best prospects of coming out of that zone. Why? That's a good question. Why? Sound like Jamster here is a Guyanese ranting and raving and wondering how come that Guyana would have taken care of them. But a lot of football happening around the Caribbean. And this massive football we're going to be having happening here. And in terms of goals, and well, that's a good question, Jamster. Maybe the Guyanese have been concentrating so much with oil, so much with the tension with Venezuela, they forget about their football. I don't know. And Francis Castillo, he's out of El Salvador. He is also leading the charts with the boots, the golden boot, the race for the golden boot. He's El Salvador, yes, he has 4 goals. And we have 2, 4, 6, 8 players with 3 goals, 2 from Canada, 2 from Puerto Rico, 1 from Trinidad and Tobago. We have 2 goals from 2 players from Antigua. I'm not seeing St. Kitts anywhere here yet. 1 goal. Anything from St. Kitts and Nevis as yet? Of course not, Jamster, because we got a 5-0. And, oh yes, we have a goal, Jamster. St. Kitts and Nevis, 1 goal against Puerto Rico. But we lost the game. So the goal was an own goal. So we scored a goal, Jamster. The Kittitians scored a goal. Only say it was scored. Well, the Kittitians and Divisions, pardon me, scored a goal, but it scored in the wrong goal. I don't know. Maybe the gentleman felt, well, by now, Kittitian Navy had to come away with a goal. And they actually were 2 goals. Another one against Guatemala, and that was by the player from, where is he from? St. Martin. So that is interesting how it's working out, Jamster. And we are going to see how that continues. But Jamster, before we go on further, let's take a short break and we will be right back. You're listening to On the Ball here on WINN FM 98.9. I'm Troy Biff Mills, who holds your host. Stick and stay. Don't go away. We'll be right back in a second or two. Welcome back to On the Ball here, Win FM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host. This program is brought to you every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. And we thank you for tuning and listening. We really appreciate it. The number to call, 466-0989. Should you have any contribution, should you need any clarification, if you want to make a comment, please do. Give us a call at any point in the program, 466-0989. We are to be having two guests tonight. Mr. Delwyn Delaney, he's scheduled to be with us from about 8:30. And we are to have Mr. Rashid Eddy, a professional cricketer out of SP, Wedibesby. And he's to be sharing some good news with us. And getting some results. The game with Haiti, that game ended 1-1. That's Haiti and Puerto Rico. So Haiti won that group, as we would have been saying earlier. We had a feeling that they would have been winning it. And they have indeed won, so they will be advancing. So that's a good thing we're hearing from Haiti. And it's not really surprising. They have a very, very high standard of play. Male and female, youth and senior. And a few years back, there was an earthquake, Jamster, and the entire Haitian team was wiped out. I think they were practicing, and the entire Haitian team were wiped out, so they had to start from scratch. And that got to be hard, Jamster. It got to be really hard. And the same thing happened to an African team a few years. Well, not the same thing in terms of earthquake, but an African team a few years back, a decade or thereabout, was it Uganda, Zambia, Namibia? The entire team were on their way to a competition, Jamster, and the plane crashed, and the whole team was wiped out. And that has to be rough. But from a positive side, it gives you a good opportunity to start from scratch. And sometimes starting from scratch is a good thing. Now we are going to be jumping over to some cricket. We touched on football, and no, we can't jump over to cricket yet, Jamster. Man, Jamster, what you doing, man? You can't let me jump over to cricket as yet, Jamster, when a lot of football going to be happening here in the Federation coming this Friday, Jamster. Friday, the St. Kitts and Nevis Association's Football League is kicking off. They are going to be having the President's Cup, and that will be happening at Warner Park, the President's Cup. What that is the league winner, which is Rams Village Superstars. They are coming up against the FA Cup or the Knockout Cup winner, which is SL Horsford's St. Paul's United. So we are actually having a replay of the finals. So that is going to be a grudge match for St. Paul's, SL Horsford's St. Paul's, so to speak. And that is happening on Friday. And then the action kicks off in earnest at 6 p.m. with a doubleheader on Saturday, the 2nd of March. Flow 4GK and Rockets will be coming up against St. Peter's. And again, all these games are at Warner Park. And then at 8 p.m., Sol Island Otto Connery will be clashing horns with Honda Newtown United. So Honda Newtown, they've gotten a new sponsor, Honda. We say congratulations to them, and we thank Honda for coming on board. And it's a very important thing for members of the corporate community to come on out and sponsor these teams. It's necessary for continuity. If that doesn't happen, it therefore means then that communities could fall away. And with a lot of young fellas playing and the football, it's needed. Sunday 3rd, there's going to be just one game at 6 p.m. MFCR, Montreal Farm Clean Rights, United Old Road Jets versus Trafalgar South Stars. Trafalgar South Stars, they coming up against Old Road Jets, and Old Road Jets, they really came on strong last year. South Stars being promoted from the first division, and United Old Road Jets, they actually made the final six, Super Six, and they had a chance to be in the finals, but they didn't hold on to the end. And I really foresee, I'm expecting great things from United Old Road Jets. Morris, their coach, I am going to get some stick for this jamster, but in my humble view, I think Morris is the best football coach we have in St. Kitts and Nevis at this time. And I say it because he took Washington Archibald High School from just a school a few years ago, a few decades ago actually, and brought them into the Premiership finals. And had they stuck around another year, I believe they would have won the championship. But two things happened. All the clubs went to the players and said, hey, time to come home, come play for community. And then they didn't come back that year, and they lost it. But he went to Connery, Morris. He went to Connery, and he took them from where they were. He bought them a championship. And he's been having some good results. And then he left, and he went to Old Road. And if I'm not mistaken, when he went to Old Road was just on the brink of going to first division. And he managed to pull the brakes and squeeze them and stop them. So they didn't go down. And they hung around there and about. They avoided relegation that year. They avoided relegation the other year. And that was like 2-3 years ago maybe. 2-3 seasons ago. And then last year, they marched right into the Super Six. And they won a few games, but they didn't hold on to the end. But I'm expecting great things for them. But I'm expecting great things from Hot Springs Bath United as well. I think they're going to be doing some things, making some things happen. And Bath, they're going to be playing Monday the 4th of March, coming up against the defending champions, Ramsey Village Superstars, at 6 p.m. And Hobson's Enterprises Garden Hotspurs, they're going to be battling the second place, SL Horsfords, at 8 p.m. Garden Hotspurs found themselves in a position last year where they had to play Mantab to determine if Mantab would come to the Premier and Spurs go down, or Mantab stay in the first division and Spurs would have stayed up. And Spurs actually took advantage of them. Mantab, that was the first game Mantab lost for the season. That had to be hard. The first game they lost in the season, and they didn't make it. I don't believe in that. When it comes to the football, I believe a few things. Yeah, this is just the view of Troy Biff Mills. One, I believe if you're going to be promoting two and sending down two, so be it. Nobody playing, nobody to say whatever. Because Spurs, they had a really bad season. And it was so awful that they lost the game by default. The team didn't show up. And I don't believe that should be happening in the Premier Division. But they were able to pull back. And some persons felt if Spurs had been relegated to the first division, that would have been the end of them. They would not have come back. So perhaps it was a good thing that happened. And Mantab, that had to be a rough one. But those are the games for the first 5 games in the SKNFA 2024 season. And I'm hearing there's a new sponsor. And we're going to hear about that. What's the position with that? We definitely will be hearing about that. And we will let you know what's going on with that. That's for the SKNFA. I suspect it's for the Premier Division. I'm not certain if it's for Premier and First Division. But we will let you know. But in terms of the First Division, no. The First Division, they are kicking off. Their action is going to be starting on Tuesday, the 5th And the first division, it looks like all of their matches are going to be played at the technical center that's up at St. Peter's. That's interesting. I'm not certain how this is going to work out, because there's a debate that the technical center, one, it was made for practice and training, not for really for matches. And two, better upkeep needs to be done, especially with the water situation. I'm understanding it needs to be properly watered, and that is not quite happening. And chances of getting injured are increased once you're playing up there. I don't know, but these are discussions I've heard around teams, around clubs, etc. And that is something we'll have to see. I like the idea of home and away. By that I mean Molyneux playing Connery Fireball. However they're going to do it, if you do it alternately home and away. So Molyneux first round would, let's say, play Connery at Connery. That gives the Connery vendors an opportunity to make a little change, and the Connery club. And then second round, it is played over Molyneux. So it gives the Molyneux club and the Molyneux vendors a chance to make a little something. I don't know what's the arrangement if they're up at the technical center at St. Peter's, if Molyneux could operate a bar, and the Connery Fireballs, if they could also operate a bar. I'm not certain. I don't really know how prudent that will be in terms of the spectatorship. But looking at the games, on Tuesday 5th, we have a doubleheader, 6 p.m. And again, all these games are played at the Technical Center. 6 p.m., Molyneux will be coming up against Connery Fireball International. 8 p.m., KFC Trinity Challengers United will be coming up against Jones Group Sandy Point. On Wednesday, a single match. That's going to be at 7 p.m. Manta versus Fast Cash Saddlers United. Tuesday 7th, 6 p.m. Davis Construction Lodge Patriots versus Trans Global Engineering Deep Bay Eagles. Thursday 7th, 8 p.m. Rivers of Living Water versus Security Forces United. So Security Forces being relegated last year. And we're going to see how that happens, how that pans out. And then games are going to be played Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays primarily. And that's how they're fixtured. Of course, if something happens and games have to be rescheduled, they may fit in another day or two. I'm not certain. But primarily, first division games are going to be played. Doubleheader Tuesdays, single match on Wednesday, and doubleheaders on Thursdays. And there may be some changing down the line. We will have to wait and see. So I'm appealing to everybody to go on out and support the Football Association, the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association. Support the clubs, support the communities. And what you'll be doing really is supporting these youngsters, keeping them away from a life of violence and crime, keeping them meaningfully engaged. So that is key, that is important. You go on out and you support the footballers and the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association. Again, I'm appealing to the corporate community to not only come on board and sponsor this program on the ball, and to do so you can call 466-9586. And we're also inviting you to call in at any point. And if you want to make your predictions, who is going to win the league and who's going to be relegated, as a matter of fact, we'll entertain it, and we may just find a sponsor for you to give you a little gift if you're correct at the end of the season, at the end of it all. So you could call in and share your views with me. But at the same time, in terms of the clubs are not only for the football, for table tennis, and we have 5. I'm president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association. We have 5 clubs, and currently we are working with the International Table Tennis Federation, ITTF, to have an expert, a coach, come down here during the Easter holidays, and we are looking and working and discussing and planning having a camp, a talent ID as it were, and then have a level 1 coaching clinics. So persons involved in table tennis, you're asked if you want to get into coaching, you want to be certified as a level 1, please give me a call. Troy Biff Mills, the president, 668-2055. And we are going to be touching base with the schools as well. And we are having a meeting with the ITTF tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So we are going to be really trying to get this done. But we need sponsors. The program needs a sponsor, or sponsors, and the clubs need sponsors. And I think we're at the point where the governments, not only of St. Kitts and Nevis, they offer some incentive for the corporate community. If you're going to be spending, I don't know, $500,000 on sponsorship of clubs and schools and teams and that sort of thing for the year, when it comes for your tax on the profits, I believe what they should do, say, okay, it's a 2-to-1 ratio. Or 3-to-1 as it were. You sponsor $500, you had $500 worth of sponsorship. Of course, once you could show us the necessary receipts and your documentation, okay, we're going to deduct $1.5 million from your taxes, and we're only going to tax you on what is left. So I think something like that, well, it could be $1 million, whatever it is, but something like that, I believe, would encourage more companies, more businesses to come on board and sponsor with the programs, teams, steel bands. Because if you check in Trinidad, almost all, if not all, of the steel bands, they are being sponsored. Petrotrin this and BP All Stars, etc., etc. And I remember when I went to Barbados for the crop over Calypso finals a few years back. First Calypsonian came out and he had about 2-3 sponsors. And I said, oh, okay, well, he looked like he worked hard. Second one came out, another 2, 3, 4 sponsors. After the third one came out, I asked, what's happening? And they explained that is the system that is used in Barbados, where companies would come on board and sponsor the Calypsonians. And then at the end of the year, they produce their documentation and they deduct that, the value, and multiply it by a figure and deduct it from the overall profits, and the balance that would be taxed, which I think is a very, very good thing. So again, before we move off the football, we say congratulations to the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association for starting the football season, and we hope it is an incident-free season this year, unlike last year with the various issues we would have had. And we wish all the teams the best and all the clubs the best, all the players the best as well, and hope you have a very productive season and an incident-free season. You don't really have any injuries, and if you do get injuries, they're not anything serious. So we wish you all the best when it comes to that. Well, still in football, but not in St. Kitts, Manchester United, that's my team out of England. They're going to be playing Liverpool in the US sometime shortly. And they normally have these preseason matches going to different places. And Man U, they're going to be coming up against Liverpool. And the tickets already on sale. And chances are it's going to be interesting. And I'm a Man U fan. And Man U to the wall, as I would say. We're not going through the best period right now. Since Sir Fergie has left, we have not been doing too well at all. Everybody taking advantage of us. And we're going to climb back. We can't stay there for forever. And I have to say congratulations to Her Excellency Dame Marcella Leibod, because she is an ardent, strong supporter of Liverpool. And they won a game, they won a championship there of some sort recently. And Dame Leibod, it wouldn't surprise me if she had a party to celebrate it. That's how much of a supporter she is of Liverpool, the Reds. And I've seen a picture of her sporting her Liverpool scarf. Liverpool club established 1892, and she's all bright smiles. And that's because Liverpool Jamster would have won a championship. And I think I might have to put a pause. We may be able to get back to this because we have our guest in studio. And let us take a couple seconds break, Jamster, and then we'll get back to our guest in a minute. Stick and stay. Don't go away. We will be right back with On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.9. Welcome back to On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.9. We have our guest in studio. Before we go to him and say good night, well, I know a lot of persons would be wondering how things are going in terms of the West Indies Championship. And the Leeward Islands, we had Desmond Haynes, the chairman of selectors, here for the last round of matches to look at the games, the players. A bird picked me on me and tell me he actually came to see Kyle Louis. He would have made a century in both innings the match before. But Kyle didn't perform too well. But from what he saw, I think he was impressed. The mental approach. And he was, from what I gather, and this is unofficial of course, that he was also impressed with the 17-year-old Joel Andrew, the wicketkeeper who would have represented the West Indies. He's from Antigua. Represented the West Indies in the Under-19 Championship. He made an 86 in the first game and 40-something in the second game there. And Lee, what's it look like? We have a habit of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. I don't know. It come like we're good at it. And St. Kitts, when it comes to cricket jamster, St. Kitts, Leewards, and West Indies, if you don't have a strong heart, don't follow them because they're going to be going good. And all of a sudden, I either say, maybe a one move in the head or something like that, and cause them to say, oh, no, something is wrong. I'm playing too good. Let me start to play differently. And they eventually won the game. So the point standings after 3 rounds of matches, all teams have played 3 rounds of matches. Combined campuses, they lost all 3 points. And there are some bonus points you can get. So they have 14.6 points. West Indies Academy, the team that defeated Leewards, which is the only match they won. They've lost 2 games after that. They have 24 points. They are in 7th position. Defending champions Guyana Harpy Eagles. This is not working out that good for them. They are in 8th. And they have 26.4 points. They have won 1, drawn 1, and they've lost 1. And Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, drawn 1, lost 1, and they've won 1, done 27.6 points. Jamaica Scorpions, they're in 4th. They've won 1 and lost 2. They're 29.6 points. Barbados Pride, they've won 2, lost 1. They have 43.8 points. Leeward Islands in 2nd position. 1-2, lost 1, same like Barbados Pride. However, they would have had a few more bonus points. So they have 45.6 points. And large and in charge, big and massive out front, Windward Islands. They haven't given up a point yet. They haven't lost the game. They've won all 3 matches. They have 62.2 points. And I like the Windward Islands. I like their approach. And in my humble view, they've been improving over the years. And I think it's only a matter of time before they win both this and the CPL we have. Last year they were going good, but they didn't hold out to the end. And they are leading. They've won all 3 matches. And I'm backing them to win, if not Leewards. If Leewards don't win, I'm really backing the Windwards. Like I said, I'm really impressed with them and how they're playing. So that's how the points are looking. And let us go straight to Studio 2 and say good evening to our guests. Welcome to On the Ball here on WinFM 98.9.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And could you please tell the world who you are, sir, who we have the pleasure of speaking to?
Yes, Delwayne Delaney, President SKN Athletics. Good evening to the listening and viewing audience here in St. Kitts and Nevis and further abroad.
And, of course, Delwyn, no stranger to WinFM 98.9. This is the 2nd, the 3rd time you're with us? I think
on this program, perhaps,
yes. What is happening in the world of track and field? We know this is the track and field season from the time January drop in to about April, May, petering off in June. All the primary schools, high schools having the sports there, as we call it. And what is really happening? Bring us up to date.
Yes, so as we know, a lot has been happening in terms of track and field. We have had a number of the zonal meets sponsored by Sports Department, Ministry of Sports Department, Ministry of Sports or Department of Sports. We had a number of what we call classic meets. We have had the SL Hosford Classic meet, the KFC Classic, we have had the Next Gen Classic, we have had the SKNOC Classic. And so we now are getting to peak time in track and field, as you know. This Saturday is the Character Trials. This Saturday, March 2nd, is the Character Trials in Nevis. And then we come back 2 weeks or so later for the Inter-School Championships that will be held from March 14th to 17th, where 14th and 15th will be at the Kim Collins Stadium, and the 16th, 17th will be at the Nevis Athletic Stadium. After which, the week after that, we have the Rams Primary Championship that will be held in Sandy Point. And then after that, week after, which will be the Easter weekend, we head to Grenada for the Character Games.
I suspect you have been scouting around, looking at the athletes at primary and high school. What is your feel in terms of the standard? What is on offer?
Yes, and I've seen the standard raised, no doubt. just by the eye test, not even looking at the times or the marks they have been achieving, but just by the eye test alone, you have not seen many of the athletes, especially the younger athletes, falling out after races. That means that the athletes have been training, they have been enrolled in some sort of formal training, where they have now been, exposed to the rigors of training, and so now competition has become quite easier for them. As it relates to the primary school level, we have seen tremendous performances at the school level, at the zonal level, and I even made a post at the on my Facebook saying that the private schools are now, in the conversation as it relates to top athletes. Before, the private schools, for lack of a better term, were the laughing stock. They were just there to fill numbers, but now they actually have quality athletes all throughout, from kindergarten all the way up, in different disciplines, not just the running events. And so we have seen the improvement all throughout track and field, not only here in St. Kitts, but also in Nevis. We have seen the same, where a lot of these athletes are coming through the ranks and looking quite promising for the future.
I know a few weeks ago, you gave an update that last year, I think it was 22 at least, we would have sent to the Bahamas for the Carifta Games. And at the update 2 or 3 weeks ago, you would have indicated there were about 19 athletes so far, and you expected us to pass that 22 figure it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
How are we looking at the moment? Has anybody made the qualifying standard for Carifta after that 2-week period list? And what are the prospects of getting closer to 29?
Yes. And so while we took 22 athletes, we only had about 6 or so athletes actually achieving the qualifying mark. Whereas this time, we have 17 athletes achieving the qualifying mark. And so whereas last year we would have taken athletes for development, for exposure, to get them a feel of things, our top junior athletes, this time around, they have shown their worth in saying, hey, I deserve to be on this team because I've made the qualifying standard. Albeit, though, the qualifying standard doesn't guarantee you a seat on the plane, because we know there's the Carifta Trials that is coming up. And with the Carifta Trials and with any event with the Carifta Games, only 2 per event per country. And in some instances, we have multiple qualifiers per event. And so it comes down now to the trials to see, hey, who is going to cup those top 2 spots to say, hey, solidify their placement on the team. Since we last spoke, we only have had one meet. Yeah, we only have had 1 meet, and that was the Jinxing Up Classic over the past weekend. And we have had Deschanel again qualifying, this time in the 800 meters. So from my recollection and from my knowledge, which is very limited, she is the only person to have qualified for 3 events for any one particular Carifta Games. So she has now attained the qualifying mark for the 200, the 400, and the 800 meters. And that's a testament to the versatility of Ms. Thomas, as well as, her dedication and her commitment, as well as working alongside her coaching staff and parents and supporters, etc.
That's interesting. You said last year you carried 22 athletes, but only 6 had qualifying times.
Mm-hmm.
So the other 16, were they able to compete, and how
Yes.
so?
Yes, because the Carifta Games doesn't have qualifying standards. The country sets the qualifying standards as a gauge.
Oh.
So each country has their own qualifying standards as a gauge, as to say, hey, these are the marks we are looking at to get you to the Carifta Games. Now, ironically, all of our marks throughout the Caribbean are relatively around the same. With the exception of Jamaica, I don't think they have any qualifying marks because generally the best out of the crop is usually the best in the Caribbean nonetheless, right? So having a qualifying mark per se won't be neither here or there for them. But when you go to Antigua, BVI, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, all our marks are generally around the
Okay.
same area. Um, so yes, they were able to compete. We were able to identify new talents coming out of the character games. You would remember that quite a number of them did exceptionally well. Even those who didn't medal either placed top 4, top 5 in the finals. And all across the board, we just had one of our best resulting character games in history. We were able to walk away with a gold, a silver, and a bronze. But collectively, we had Jazawa just missing out on a medal through unfortunate incident with the line infringement in the 800 meters. We had Jermad not able to register a throw in the shot put that would have given him a bronze medal at least, because he only missed the bronze medal by 4 points. And so that's in the Maltese event. And so we have seen the development of the athletes. We have seen the hunger of the athletes coming in to 2024 from the 2023 season.
That's interesting. And the excitement, I guess, the rush, the adrenaline, because the athletes, I suspect, and I believe they really know what they have to do in terms of these infringements, the lines, etc. But nonetheless, do you have the association, do you have programs where you walk athletes through the rules and regulations, as it were, of the championships, what they can do, what they cannot do, the baton passing within the ranges, etc., etc.?
Yes, through our camps, not camps, our academy, rather, we go through the rules, what you can't and cannot do, what's acceptable. For instance, throwing the javelin, the end point of the javelin shouldn't touch the ground. For the shot put, it shouldn't leave your neck. It will be seen as a throw and not shot put in the ball. So we go through different things with them at the academy level. I think it was perhaps maybe fatigue or just a lapse in concentration a bit. Why that happened last year, but nonetheless, the athletes are fully aware of the rules and regulations which are across the board. They're nothing special as it relates to character games versus what we do here in St. Kitts and Nevis. So all rules are standard across the board.
You have how many athletes coming up with qualifying times? Are they the only athletes who will be participating in the Carifta trials? Or if I'm running, I don't know, the 800 meters on the 20 boys, and I haven't reached any qualifying time, would I still have a chance to run in the Carifta trials?
Of course. So the Carifta trials is open to all athletes, St. Kitts and Nevis, all athletes. Whether it will be your first meet for the year, whether it be once you're fit, we only have 2 categories, the under 17 category and the under 20 category. So once you're able to fit within these categories, you're eligible to compete. Unfortunately, though, the registration period is over for that. We have registered, I think the technical officials would have mentioned somewhere around 200, just over 200 athletes will be competing on Saturday. The field events, though, that being the high jump and the discus, will be on Friday afternoon at 5, right? For obvious reasons, we will be utilizing the discus cage and the high jump bed here. And then all other events, whether it be the shot put, the javelin, the long jump, and the running events, will be taking place in Nevis.
When you go with your squad, do you carry any, for want of a better expression, backups? Okay, you're going to need 2 athletes for the 1, the 2, the 4. Do you carry an athlete who may be there and thereabout in any one of those events, just in case?
Not necessarily, but we understand that in the selection process, there are athletes who are versatile. And so we see our athletes perhaps might be gone for a particular event, an athlete get injured or not able to compete, somebody will be able to fill in. But per se, having athletes to say travel for backup purposes, no. But when the time comes, just like with anything, next man up type of situation, that happens all the time, and the athletes are more than capable of stepping up to the plate.
If throughout the year you've been having a consistently high performance in whatever event, and come the trial, tariff the trial, somebody creep upon you, so to speak, and you're no longer in the 2. How is that dealt with? Is that, would you say, well, hey, boy, tough luck, Delwyn, we've been winning this time, all right, but Troy come ahead of you this time, so you got to take the bench and Troy goes. How is that dealt with?
So it's not so much that the top 2 persons will go unless the top 2 persons are top 2 qualifiers, right? So that's why we have the character trials. So yes, you might be doing well all season long, and here comes 2 persons out of nowhere, surpasses you with qualifying marks. Those 2 persons by right will be the front runners to participate. You need athletes who will have to bring it on the day. Just like, for instance, events are not one on paper. 2011, if you recall, everybody said Bolt will win the 100 meters, but then he false starts. Then what do we do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that just opened the door for somebody else. And so although you might be going to the championships, for instance, we have been tracking and seeing, say, hey, based on what transpired last in 2023, this person, this athlete is in the medal hunt or medal contention. But we're saying that based on what they have been doing all year. But if they don't bring it in Grenada, it will be null and void. So you have to bring it on the day. And similarly to the for the character trials, you have to bring it on the day and ensure that you solidify your spot.
You're listening to On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host, and we have with us in the studio Mr. Delwyn Delaney, the president of St. Kitts and Nevis Athletics. We're talking track and field at the moment. You're free, of course, to call in at any point if you have any questions, any concerns, any recommendations, anything you're not too happy about, anything at all, be it track and field, football, cricket, anything. If you would want to big up somebody, then you're free to do so. You can do so at any point in the program, 466-0989. Or you could send me a WhatsApp if you're shy and don't want to go live on air. You could send me a WhatsApp on 668-2055. And I know we have some listeners all over the Caribbean and overseas. And they're listening and they always say, hey, Biff, I like the program. Or Biff, I think you're out here with this, whether factually or otherwise. And we appreciate that. And we are open for discussions with anything. So we do appreciate it. 466-0989. That is the number to call, and if we discuss anything. A piece of information came across our desk, Delwyn.
Yes.
Jermaine Francis left for Jamaica last week, I think it was, to undergo a stint of training and competitions, and he will be he'll be training at the GC Foster Complex under the watchful eye of renowned jumps coach, Mr. Marlon Gale. Jermaine is our current high jump record holder. His sights are set on becoming the first field event Olympian for our federation. And notable mention will have to go to Miss Rota Johnson, the premier jumps coach, and his personal coach, the St. Kitts Olympic Committee, for their support, the Corporate Solutions Services Limited for their support as well, and also the St. Kitts and Nevis Athletics for their continued support. So we do indeed say congratulations to German and his family in the note. They are very proud. I don't have to remind anybody that German is from SP, where the best be. I don't have to do that at all, Delwyn. And I think he has performed very well at the Pan Am Games and regional games. How was this selection done in the first instance?
As it relates to German?
German, yes.
Yes, so it was basically off of the coach. Well, I reached out to the coach in Jamaica because I trained in Jamaica for quite some time. And ironically, he said that he has been watching German from since the character, because German is the character record holder still. And that's
what category?
Under 20.
Okay.
I think he jumped 222, and that record is now standing maybe for maybe 5-6 years now.
So that puts it around about 2016.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And that's a record perhaps will be around for some time to come. So we had what we call in a jump off meet, and we he indicated, and his coach indicated, that they were jumping, they have been training, say, hey, opportunity has arisen, but we need to see where he's at, just to firm up the commitment and that sort of thing. And he went out and jumped 220, which was...
And the record he had, his character was 222.
It's 222. And so, having jumped the 220, having not competed for quite some time, we say, hey, we might be onto something. And so we did what we had to do, reach out to the different stakeholders, partners, and so we got it done in short order, where he was able to leave the federation and, hook up with the GC Foster coach. GC Foster is a college in Jamaica that's deals specifically with sports administration or physiotherapy, that sort of thing. That kind of it's a sports college, and so, but also they have a strong athletic team there. They travel all over the world. They travel to Penn Relays to compete, and so he is entering an environment that is highly competitive. There's actually another jumper who is now his training partner, Lucene. The last name I think is Henry, and so they have been training together rather, and so that holds well for him and his future, and hopefully he'll be able to attain that qualifying mark or that top 32 standing that is needed to be selected for the Olympic Games. Reminded that the Olympic qualifying mark is 233, but if athletes do not attain the 233, then they go on ranking based on what you would have jumped over the year. And so having him out there in Jamaica will assist him in getting his points up, and so that he will be in that top 32, which would be automatically qualifying for the Paris Olympics.
Let me see if I understand this. The qualifying height is 223.
233.
233, sorry. Okay, 233. And he would have jumped 220 without waking him up out of his sleep a few weeks ago, whenever the case was. So, hey, come and jump. And he jumped 220.
He was training. He was doing some
okay.
training, but he hadn't competed for quite some time.
Oh.
Maybe close to 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long
time without
a long sabbatical. But he's now back, he's at it again.
Right.
So if he gets to 233, let's say 234, I don't know. Are you saying it isn't an automatic selection for him?
It is automatically selection. Right. For him, in terms of the acceptance. Of course, we have to go through, whatever procedures that we have here as the SKNOC. But in terms of accepting that performance, yes, that is the qualifying mark. But what we have seen over the years, that only a handful, maybe 5-6 jumpers have been able to reach that type of height. And so that leaves now another 26 jumpers now battling for the other spots because they're going with the top 32 in the world. And so they attain their marks through ranking points. So according to how high you jump, you get points. Bear in mind as well that you might have 5 Americans, 4 Canadians, 6 Great Britain, but it's only 3. So you still have to take out those and see where you jump. You understand? So I might be at 40, but when you subtract the 6 Americans, the 5 Canadians, you know what I mean?
You drop to 20 something.
Right.
So it's only 3 athletes
per event, no matter how
per country,
per country,
per event.
per event.
Even in the hundreds and the twos and the long jumps, everything.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
That's why each country held what we call their trials, the national trials, so they can determine who are these top 3 athletes that are vying for.
And perhaps a reserve if needs be.
No reserve, no backup.
So suppose you're in your top 3 and one of them get injured or something that they can't compete.
Well, at that point in time, because again there's a cutoff point, there's a cutoff point, and so if they're able to say, hey, maybe they can at some point in time they can say, okay, well, John James got injured last week, so we are moving Delwayne now into we are submitting Delwayne Delaney as our 3rd athlete in the high jump. Yes, that can happen.
Okay. How long is Jermaine going to be staying up there?
In the first instance, 3 months, and then we, based on the progression and so on, it will be extended into the June month, which is around the cutoff point, close the end of June, the cutoff period for the Olympic Games.
You said what you've observed over the years, only maybe 5, 6, a handful of persons make the qualifying time, the qualification. So why do they have it so high still then?
I think they want the best of the best. You know what I mean? It's just, for instance, the 100 meters is at 10 flat. I remember when I used to compete, which was not too long ago. The qualifying time was 10:21. But now with all these TV rights and ensuring that you have the quality, people want to see the best, you know what I mean? You hardly see, I mean, yes, you would see athletes participating from countries, and that's just in the spirit of the games. We'll have somebody from some Pacific country, and you'll be probably saying, why they bother run? Because you see them running way to the back, and they would have just gotten the chance to enter just to have their country represented at the Olympic Games. But after that qualifying period is over, in terms of that qualification, because there's a qualification, and especially for the 100 meters, then you get into the heats. That's where the fire is. After those persons are, get their one run, then it's time for
the big dogs start barking.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about what it takes, what you have to run to make a final, you have to run like 9.8 to make a final. Whereas back in the day, 9.8 would have won you the goal. Morris Green ran 9.8 to win the goal. I think Justin Gatlin in Sydney might have run 9.85 or somewhere around there to win gold. I mean, I think maybe you say might have changed the game a bit for everybody.
With the Yam and the Daniel.
So everybody wants to ensure that, and with the TV rights and so on, you want to keep people on edge. You don't want to see anything other than the best.
You're listening to On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.9. I'm Troy Biff Mills, your host. We have with us in studio Mr. Delwayne Delaney. He's out of Connery. He's the president of St. Kitts and Nevis Athletics. We encourage you to give us a call, share your views, share your encouragements, make any predictions, and you can call on any topic notwithstanding. We are discussing track and field. We are still expecting one of our guests to call us. He'd probably call us at some point. It's now 20 minutes to 9. We finish at 9. And the program is every Tuesday here on WINNFM 98.9. Jazara Claxton.
Mm-hmm.
Is she up for consideration for the Cap Rifter team this year?
Mm-hmm. Yes. We know that she is big on cricket.
And she's playing some West Indies tournament commencing right here in St. Kitts.
Right.
Commencing the next week. As a matter of fact, the Leeward Islands female and the Windward Islands female, they're having a 2-day practice game, if I'm not mistaken. They're having 2 days of practice because it's a 50 over tournament. I think it's tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not certain if she'll be in. I think she will be in the Leeward's team because I think she may very well be the captain. So,
yes, all indication is that she will be participating in the character trials.
This Saturday.
This Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but whereas last year she would have competed in
Hepathlon, I think it was.
the hep. She would just be competing or vying for one event. That would be the javelin.
Oh, okay.
Right, the javelin throw.
And she, in my view, she really performed well.
Exceptional.
I respect these athletes who doing the hip and the
arc
and the SEP and all of them, man.
Mm-hmm.
Even the triathlon. Yeah, these guys got to be monster athletes, man.
Yeah, I mean, once you in the world of track and field, the winner of the deck for the male, which is 10 events, and the arc for the female, which is 8 events, you are considered the best athlete in the world. Because you will have to run, you'll have to jump, you have to throw.
Mm-hmm.
No other sport.
That all-round capability.
Right. So you have to high jump, you have to long jump, you have to throw shot put, you have to sprint, and you have to run long distance.
And throw some javelin or something.
Right.
Or something.
So in track and field, you are considered the best athlete in the world once you're able to capture gold.
That's a very good observation. And it comes down to, on sport, that everybody wants to see the 100. The quickest man. But in my view, when it comes to the track, I regard the 400-meter athlete as a better athlete, per se, than the 100. That's just my humble view.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have that element of speed and still stamina and endurance in there, as opposed to a man just running down the track. In 10 seconds, 11 seconds, whatever, it is over.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to endure that, and the sprint is so quick. I'm not sure you have enough time to psych out your athlete, where is his strength. By the time you're done doing that, the race done. But with a 400-meter, you could realize, okay, he's taking this corner a little wide, so I'm going to pass him here in this corner. And you strategize your game. But that's just my humble view, but I like the thing, because I always had the utmost of respect for these males and females who are doing these latter events.
Mm-hmm.
And the timing, again, some of the time 2, 3, 4 spread out. They got to be really tough.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Jazara, she has recently, by the Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, appointed her as the Youth Board member of the violence as a public health perspective committee. And quickly, in a brief yet significant presentation, Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, appointed Miss Jazara Claxton, a professional cricketer and footballer, and as the Youth Board member on the Violence as a Public Health Perspective Committee. The meeting was attended by the Minister of Sports et al., the Honorable Samuel Duggins, and His Excellency Kenneth Douglas, Ambassador to the Ministry of Sports. Also present were Jazara Claxton's proud parents, Miss Ika Francis and Mr. Frank Claxton. Miss Jazara Claxton, a remarkable athlete, is renowned as a member of the Barbados Royals women and West Indies women on the 19 cricket teams. She has also showcased her talents as a forward for Newtown, thinking that this is Old Road. I think she played for Old Road Jets.
Yeah, the last
And
team.
if I'm not mistaken, they went down to
Penalties.
penalty kicks and she scored the winning kick. And
Yeah, I think so.
so she would have relieved Newtown of a championship that they've been dominating for decades. And the St. Kitts and Nevis women's national team earning her the title of the most decorated sports personality for 2023 in St. Kitts. And that is a very powerful move for her. And I say congratulations to her.
Yes.
And indeed, congratulations to the Honorable Prime Minister for taking this initiative. And more and more, she's becoming a role model for not only females, but all the youth really in the Federation. A very humble young lady. You see her walking, riding bike to Sandy Point. You can't believe this young lady here representing the West Indies cricket team. And I think she's destined for big things. I think it's only a matter of time before she'll break into the senior team, the West Indies senior team. And she's yet just 17, 18 or thereabout. So I think it's a very good find, a real treasure, a gem we have here in St. Kitts and Nevis. As an athlete, track and field, football, and cricket.
Yep.
It looks like anything she does with sports,
She does well.
She does well. So, and she is yet humble. And of course, we say here from Win FM 98.9, congratulations to her, and we wish her the best. It's 8:47. We have roughly about 8 minutes, and Delwyn TDC Inter-School Championship. History is going to be made this year.
Yes, indeed. For the first time ever, I think. The competition will be spanned over 2 days, two venues, 4 days. 14th and 15th will be in St. Kitts at the Kim Collins Stadium. We will have...
That's a Thursday and Friday match.
Right. And so we'll have most of the field events happening, the shot put, the discus, the javelin. Although some field events will be taking place in Nevis, but the majority of it over those 2 days will see the field events happening at the Kim Collins Stadium. Then on Saturday and Sunday, we move the action to the Nevis Athletic Stadium, where we'll have all of the running events, the 100, the 200, the 400, the hurdles events, the 3,000, the relays. If persons had tuned into the Jinxing Up Classic, you know that the relays were highly contested, and it left a bit of not uncertainty, but wanting to know what will happen, because at the Jinxing Up Classic, the defending champions, SEMS, weren't participating. And so now throwing the SEMS Eagles into the mix, now persons are wondering what will happen, who will emerge, what's going to happen, you know, and so persons and fans are now wondering and, you know, all excited about what's going to happen over that weekend on 14th to the 17th. So, I mean, you have to be there. We're encouraging persons to come on out, journey with us to Nevis. We'll try to make it as accommodating as possible. We are working alongside the boat operators, the busmen, to ensure that we have a smooth flow, not only for the athletes, but the spectators who are seeking to journey over to Nevis. We are working on a information poster, so persons can know, hey, this is how I get to Nevis, this is how I get back from Nevis in a safe manner, in a timely manner, to ensure that I can return again on Sunday if I'm not overnighting in Nevis on this Saturday. So again, we are appealing to the general public to journey with us. Yes, it's historic. Yes, it's not the norm, but why not, right? Why not? The circumstances are as such, and why not? Let's give it a shot, and let's see how it works out.
You know, it's very funny, you know, Delwyn, because for years I've been saying that I believe at least one day since they put down the Monday track, I believe we should have at least one day of the meet up there. Whether it's the first, the second day, I don't know. I didn't get into those details. But just, I would have liked to see that the idea of that happening. It's happening this year now for 2 days. And obviously there's a lot of debate that's happening in all around the place, locally, overseas, social media, in person, on radios. You didn't mention in terms of the going and the coming. A key area seems to be the overnighting, as it were, because what we have seen over the years here in St. Kitts, I'm not certain how the Nevis schools deal with it, but schools have been booking hotel rooms, guest houses, etc., in the Bastia area, especially close to the Kim Collins Stadium. So if you're running an event 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you could sleep and they come and wake you up 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, whenever, I don't know. And so how is that accommodation aspect working out in Nevis?
Yes, so some of the schools, the majority of the schools won't be overnighting in Nevis, right? They have opted to stay together in St. Kitts. I have a campsite in St. Kitts, and we'll be moving them from St. Kitts close by to the boat to get over. Hence why we have deliberately have the schedule as such. We are on the Saturday, the meet starts at 10, and on the Sunday, the meet starts at 12. So that would allow persons to get back over. We are giving ourselves a window when the meet finishes and how we want the athletes to get back, how close, how soon after we want the athletes to be at their residence. And so it allows for a later start so that the athletes don't have to move as early the following day after competing on the first day. So whereas the athletes are expected to be at the stadium around 8:30, 9 maybe the latest on the Saturday, they have a little leeway time now and 10:30 or thereabout on the Sunday. Right? So they get to move a little later on the Sunday.
Do you have confirmations from all the schools that they will participate in? Any concerns or any schools kind of iffy at the moment? Maybe not.
There are some concerns, but nonetheless, we are working them out. Of course, they will have concerns because it is not something of the norm.
Virgin territory, as it is.
Right. And so questions are being asked. What about this? How about that? What do you guys think about this? And we're working through them. Schools are optimistic that it can happen. They are all in. They have said yes. And so we are just working out the kinks to ensure that everybody's on the same page. Whether the bus operators, the boat operators, we have been in constant communication with them. As I said, the full scheduling will be prepared and submitted to the schools so that everybody is comfortable. And when it's time to move, we move the athletes all at once and bring them back over all at once, not disenfranchising any one school.
You did say you're working with the boat operators for the shuttling of the especially the spectators. Any special package in terms of boat and entry into the grounds for a spectator? What's the price for the grounds in Nevis?
So the grounds, we only have...
That's to enter the meet on both days.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. So the pricing is already out. And so we have we have preferred seating. That will be the finish line seating. On the Saturday will be $30. On the grounds for adults is $15, and on the grounds for children is $10. And when we say on the ground, we are talking about the metal stands, the metal seating, and standing room, right? So we don't have, whereas in Kim Collins Stadium, we had the Kim Collins Stadium, we had the metal stands, and we had grounds. Now it's just two two differentiation, that being the preferred seating and the grounds, which include the metal seating. On the Sunday, preferred seating is $40. The grounds is $20 for adults and $15 for children. And we try to make it as reasonable as possible because we know spectators will be traveling from St. Kitts to Nevis. And we know they have to factor in, sometimes they go in large groups. We want to factor in that they would have to take the boat, bus, and still have to enter the venue.
And of course, something to eat and drink and have a party.
Of course. And so we want to ensure that we make it as affordable as possible. As I said, we are speaking with the bus authority. We are speaking with the boats as well to see what concession can be lent to the spectators as well.
Any final words? It's now 8:56. Any final words you wish to say?
Yes, just want to encourage the general public to continue supporting track and field in a big way. We need your support, whether it be financially, whether it be morally. We need your support in a big way. We have been toiling hard as it relates to the 2024 season. We are optimistic about the performances, not only at the character, but also at the regional meets and also the international meet, which of course is the Olympic Games. And also we have the World Juniors later on after the Olympic Games. And so we want to encourage persons to continue support the parents, continue sending out their children to the different training camps. We have the academies, the grassroots, whatever. Enroll your children in the different track and field clubs, both here in St. Kitts and over there in Nevis. We want to say a special thank you to Department of Sports Nevis for supporting, and the Ministry of Sports Nevis, the Ministry of Sports here in St. Kitts, Ministry of Education, both in St. Kitts and Nevis, our corporate sponsor, First Federal, our new sponsor in National Bank. Actually, the character trials will be sponsored by National Bank or the national group of companies, rather. And so they have come on in a big way, and we want to say thank you to them. All the volunteers, thank you. We couldn't have done it without you. Of course, the fans, the spectators, the well-wishers, those who lend a helping hand, those who have words of advice, however, and you wish to convey it. We hear and we see, and we definitely will put thought and practice into the concerns. So thank you, Win FM, for having us this evening. And hopefully when we're back again, we will have more good news as it relates to track and field and where the athletes are and how they have been progressing along the 2024 pathway.
Thank you very much, Delwyn, for coming on board and being here with us in studio live for another edition of On the Ball. And the track and field, this is the heart and the season of it. We really appreciate it. We wish you and your association all the best. And we hope that the athletes have an injury-free season.
Yes.
And if they do pick up injuries by chance, nothing serious. And we thank you and we wish you all the best. And I should be in Nevis for those 2 days.
Nice.
And I'm looking forward to some action. As we wind up, we take a look at the sports day. The sports day is, as it were, coming up on Thursday 29th. We have 3 ways. Keon Primary School will be at the Keon playing field. George Moody Primary will be at Newtown Sports Complex. And Irish Town Primary will be at Gardens Sports Complex. That is on Thursday 29th. On Friday 1st, we are having another triple treat. Dr. William Connor, they're at Patsy Allen's playing field. Dean Glassford's Primary School at the St. Peter's playing field. And Joshua Obadiah Williams on Molyneux playing field. That's Friday 1st. Saturday, we're just having a double. Date Bay Primary School will be at the Date Bay playing field, and I will be doing some commentary there. And Sandy Point Primary, they will be at the Sandy Point playing field. Sunday, 3rd, we're going to have a triple. Some big boys in here. Washington Archibald High School, they're at the Newtown Sports Complex. Bronte Welsh, they're going to be at Boyd's Playing Field. And Sadler's Playing Field is the venue for Sadler's Secondary School. And those are the sports days happening between now and Sunday. Of course, by next week, Thursday, we'll give you those on Wednesday. We thank you for tuning in to On The Ball here at WINNFM 98.9. And it was indeed a pleasure bringing the program to you. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host, and we thank you for listening. We thank you for our guest, Delwyn Delaney, president of St. Kitts and Nevis Athletic, for coming and being here with us. And we invite you to tune in again next week, Tuesday, from 7 to 9 p.m. on WINNFM 98.9. On The Ball heard every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. And again, we are appealing to our any sponsor, potential sponsors. We're inviting you to come on board and sponsor On The Ball. Please call our marketing department 466-9586 and they'll be able to work out a sponsorship solution for you. Or you can contact me 668-2055. Again, we're inviting you to join us again next week. And as I slip away, I encourage you to always be safe, be healthy, and stay clean. And always be positive in your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Have a good night. All the best. Be safe.
Buildings damaged by an earthquake are dangerous. This is not the